Okay guys, on page number 17 we are going to begin. Now page number 17 is blank. It looks like this in your book, but this is going to end up being your table of contents in this workbook. So page number 17 we'll keep coming back to and continue filling out the pillars for each session. But for now, go ahead and put in the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the pillars just like this. And you can go ahead and write the words in. We'll fill in the pillars later on. But right now, write 1 identity, 2 rules, 3 steps, 4 rhythms, and 5 people. This is how we make our life count. So let's look at pillar number 1 and fill that in. Pillar number 1, you should have some bullet points that say Imago Dei, I-M-A-G-O, space D-E-A, Imago Dei. It's just Hebrew for image of God. And so when we talk about our one identity, more than anything else, we are all of humanity, we were all created in the image of God. That means that we all are created with an intrinsic value simply because of who we are created in the image of. And that's not just you and me, that's every person, even our enemies. That's why Jesus tells us to love our enemies, because we're all created in the image of God, which means we all are called to represent Him to the rest of the world, okay? That's our original design. So you can write down Imago Dei and then write down original design. And then in the bullet point you can write down the word ecclesia or ecclesia, however you want to say that, E-C-C-L-E-S-I-A. That is our Christian identity. It means to represent. Ecclesia simply is a Greek word where we get the word church from, but it did not mean a building or a style of worship or a style of dress or preaching or a style of hypocrisy, whatever it may be. Ecclesia did not mean that. It simply meant a group of people who have been called out to represent. That's our Christian identity. We'll talk more about how we get into the ecclesia in a minute. But then in the pillar you can put messages or message, voices, platforms. This is what we're going to be spending the rest of our time mapping out. But if you will, I encourage you to read Genesis chapter 1 verses 26 and 27 to learn about our Imago Dei, the image of God that we were created in. You can look at the book of Acts chapter 20 verse 28, and just as a passing reference to the church, the word church in that verse is ecclesia. But so when we look at the word church in the Bible, we need to always understand that word church means a group of people who have been called out to represent. It does not mean a building, okay? And so that's important. And then you can also look up Ephesians chapter 2 verses 1 through 6 to learn how we are part of the ecclesia and what we are called to do there. And then you can also look at 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verses 17 through 20. I encourage you to look at all of those verses. But this is our identity. Now, one other thing that I want to encourage you to do between now and the next video is scan that QR code that's in your workbook, because that will take you to another website that has a PDF on it that's called God's Heart on Identity and Self-Image. That's by another resource, another ministry, but it's a really good resource when it comes to our identity in Christ. So I encourage you between now, this video, and the next video, go and read that material and begin to pray about what it means to be considered the Imago Dei, created in the image of God, and what it means for you and I as Christians to be ecclesia, to be called out to represent. What does that mean? That's our new identity in Christ.